You're listening to Wild Things and Wild Places, a Muley Fanatic Foundation podcast that aims to discuss issues and efforts related to the Muley Fanatic Foundation mission, the conservation of mule deer, furthering the sport of hunting, and sound wildlife management.
Everybody knows I'm a Muley fanatic.
It's time for Wild Things and Wild Places. And here's your guide, Joshua Corsi.
Yeah, happy June. Welcome to another episode of Wild Things and Wild Places, and great episode in store for you today. A little bit outside the box, and that's quite okay because this is a great cause we want to talk about. Excited to be able to have this conversation. Joining me today on Wild Things and Wild Places, I got the Sheridan Chief of Police, Travis Koltiska. Howdy, Travis.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for taking some time to visit with me. You know, in anticipating that we would be having this conversation, we probably need to reference maybe how this came to be. Certainly, I'd like to give a nod to Director Brian Nesvik with the Wyoming Game and Fish Department for connecting these dots. But you and I had a conversation. I think that's probably where we should start, and then we can go from there to talk about what we want to move forward.
This whole thing actually started from tragedy, and everybody's aware, and at least in this region and across the country, the loss that the Sheridan Police Department experienced back in February. We lost an amazing individual. Sergeant Nevada Krinkee was shot and killed in the line of duty on February 13th, and it's just really left a big hole in everybody here in our community, and I think across the state. As the chief, you're always looking at ways to honor those that have served you in any capacity, and I started exploring ways to honor Nevada in the form of providing scholarships through our Police Protective Association in Nevada's name. Nevada, he served 2 tours in Afghanistan with the very distinguished 82nd Airborne as an infantryman, and one of the things that he took the most pride in was protecting school children who never got to attend school in that country before. And he carried that over into his policing career, and he was always someone who was just very invested in the children and ensuring education. In his honor, I started looking at ways that we could raise some money as a fundraiser to provide scholarships in Nevada's name to community youth for them to better their lives. And that brought me actually through, like you said, the initial conversation with Brian Nesvik, and he connected us in some ways that we could try to work towards receiving these funds.
I'd be remiss if I just chalked that up to coincidence. I certainly, as a man of faith, believe that things happen that aren't coincidental, and those connections, certainly, I believe the people you interact with, there's a bigger power at play there. But before we get into some more details on how there's a partnership and how folks can support this to help further and honor Sergeant Nevada Krinkee and his memory and the things that he stood for and what you're trying to do here, Chief, take me back to the morning of February 13th. I'm curious your perspective of how those events unfolded, how you were notified, and what transpired from there forward.
Sure, and I'll try to get through this the best I can because it's still fresh in our minds. But that was every appearance was a normal Tuesday morning. I was actually in a training at our courthouse for some incident command structure. That approximately 10 o'clock, closer to 11 o'clock, the police department received a call of an individual who had been evicted from a home but was back on a property, and they were asking that this individual could get a trespass warning. This call was Sergeant Krinkee responding to a call to do nothing more than issue a trespass warning. And upon contact, he observed some other issues that he needed to deal with. Got to understand that there's still some investigation being done by the Wyoming Division of Criminal Investigation, and some of the details are going to be left out. But through this investigation, the individual resisted and it became physical, at what point he pulled a concealed handgun and killed Sergeant Krinkee. At that point, went to a different residence, and we ended up in a 60-hour barricaded standoff. And we had to pull in resources from different parts of the state because something like that on an agency of less than 30, like the Sheridan Police Department is, it's a very difficult situation to deal with such limited resources. But the cities of Gillette and the cities of Casper and Natrona County absolutely came through for us and provided mutual aid assistance. And we'd always hope for a peaceful resolution, but in this situation, the individual who shot Sergeant Krinkee had no desire for this situation to end peacefully, and at the end of the resolution ended up with his death as well. And so that's after 60 hours, but there's a wave of emotions that go through all that, and the shock that's occurred that this happens in our wonderful little community that we have up here, and we really do have an amazing community. Just a lot of different things go through your mind and really through your emotions. And so it brought us to experience the worst thing that I think that I know any police agency can ever experience. And we're in the recovery stages. That's where we're at now at this point. As we speak right now, we're still going through it. But I can tell you that the community support and the support across the state of Wyoming is what has really been the catalyst for that. And I think what we're talking about and the way that we can honor Nevada, and that's more of the healing, and that's just a way to keep his memory alive, because like I said, he was an absolute amazing individual in every way. He was the epitome of a law enforcement professional with caring, compassion, and we want to honor him for as long as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Chief, for sharing that. I know that's as you and I have talked before, and what I had shared in the podcast that I had done the following week. That's a wound that won't heal, and I hate to rip the scab off, but I know you'll deal with this with the rest of your life, as well as your community and those that worked with Sergeant Nevada Krinkee. But I do think it's important, if folks weren't aware, that they know the backstory to why we're having this conversation. I think it's something that we're blessed with every day living in this nation, and the freedoms that we have, that to recognize that does come at a sacrifice, and the ultimate sacrifice, one giving their life for their community and what they uphold in law and order. So I think that's important, and I wanted to make sure we covered that. But to do that and to honor Sergeant Nevada Krinkee in this plan, to be able to generate some revenue that will be set aside for a scholarship in his memory, I think is a valuable and valiant effort on your part and those that have been involved in this, and my hat's off to you for that. In our initial conversation, the discussion centered around the potential of maybe seeing if there was a Wyoming commissioner's tag that could be had. It was a little late in the game for that. Those had all been allocated. And so you and I started kicking around some other ideas. And Sheridan, one nice addition to the Sheridan community is that you have Weatherby right there in your backyard, headquartered there. I had referenced maybe there was some potential there. You have a personal relationship with Adam and Brenda Weatherby. You go to church with them. And you really took it from there. And now we're here, and we've got this beautiful custom limited edition made Weatherby 307 Alpine with a fluted barrel with a thin blue line that'll accompany this podcast and the pictures of that, with the inscription honoring Sergeant Nevada Krinkee. And we're going to raffle this thing off, and we're going to limit it to 250 tickets, $100 a ticket. That'll generate $25,000 if we can sell this out, which I believe that the folks that are supporting this are not supporting it to win the rifle, although that would be nice if you're the lucky recipient. But really, that's the ask. That's the challenge is, let's support, let's show our reverence and our respect and honor for this great nation, and the recognition that it comes at the ultimate sacrifice to have the blessings that we have. And we're going to put this out and let people from everywhere, you can live anywhere, just recognizing that this is something that you want to be a part of, you want to be included, and you want to support this. And Chief, where and how will these funds be distributed?
They'll be distributed to the Sheridan Police Protective Association. It's a association of officers of the department, and it was set up years ago. And we've done different scholarships in the past, but in conversations with Nevada's wife, Carla, who is very supportive of this endeavor, but her wishes were to ensure that these funds were utilized for those children that, and I even say 18-year-olds graduating high school seniors as children, but those that are wishing to go on to higher education, whether it be trade schools or college, whatever assistance we can provide. And we'll provide up to 3 scholarships per year, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 per year that we would like to, in Nevada's name. There will be an application process, and then the decision will be made amongst members of the Police Protective Association of who would be worthy recipients of this. And so that's the method moving forward. All area schools are aware and are made aware of the scholarship opportunity, and so as we receive applications, we review them and award them appropriately. And I'd like to touch on that Weatherby, both Adam and Brenda and their design and production team, Seth Hiller, they absolutely came through. No other. This is This rifle was, this brand new Alpine Carbon was just released last Wednesday. This is a one of a kind. It has not even hit an opportunity of a sales floor yet anywhere at this specific model. So this is an absolute one-of-a-kind rifle, and they absolutely came through on this, and we're very supportive of the partnership and the relationship that we have with our community, and I think that's a big part of this potential success for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to ask you what that conversation was like when you had that conversation with Adam and Brenda. I'm sure it didn't take much. They couldn't say yes fast enough. Yeah, I bet.
They could not say yes fast enough. And we met, we talked about, Nevada was one of our department marksmen. He was a shooter. He liked to go out and shoot, so we incorporated a lot of that into just talking about what weatherby model would be really appropriate and would be something that would be what Nevada would go pick out. If he was walking on through the showroom, what would he pick out? And they could not have done a better job. And they had just really came through on this, and we're so supportive and appreciative of that. And in my conversation with Carla, she's extremely appreciative and thankful and would love to see this thing go through successful as well. So we have great hopes. We've got a lot of drive to make this happen, and the whole end game is the benefit that we can provide for youth of the community to better their lives. That's what it's all about. That's what Nevada was all about.
Not that it matters, but what is the caliber with this particular rifle?
Oh, yes.
It could be a BB gun PRC. And it wouldn't matter, right?
No, they put it in a pretty fantastic caliber from that 7mm PRC.
Oh, man, very popular caliber.
It's relatively new one. Yeah, very popular. And this is going to be a fantastic rifle for whoever's fortunate enough to win the raffle. And, yeah, as everybody can see, it's a beautifully made Weatherby, and we're very excited to put this in the hands of a lucky winner.
So there's the challenge. 250 tickets, limited to 250 tickets only. $100. We'll distribute our communications. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you can share it with others within your circles, your platforms, your outreach that you have available to you. Get this out in front of as many people as we can. We would like to sell this out quickly, mainly because we want to do the drawing on July 4th. We think that's fitting. It's also the 1-year anniversary of Wild Things and Wild Places, this podcast. That's what we picked that date specifically last year to launch this podcast as just our nod to the freedoms that we have to even be able to talk about mule deer and our mission. But I think it even has more meaning, and it's much more compounded when we think about what this cause is. 100% of these proceeds go into this effort in memory and honor of Sergeant Nevada Krinkee. And so if we can sell this out right away, even if we sell it out before, I think if we can, we'd like to make the announcement on our Independence Day, celebrate these freedoms and just the reverence and the honor that we have for why we have such freedoms at the cost of so many. Chief, I think this is going to be exceptional.
The July 4th is absolutely perfect, and Nevada was a patriot through, and nobody wanted to serve more, and he understood that service is the foundation of our country. It was built on the service of others, and so it's a perfect time, and that will just further honor his memory.
Yeah, outstanding. I knew it would be a difficult conversation to have. I knew it'd be littered in emotion. I'm glad that we could have this conversation. I appreciate you and your willingness to be able to converse on some of the details. I think that's important that folks know what this is and why we're doing it. You know, you don't have to live in the Sheridan area. You don't have to live in Wyoming. You can be from anywhere, and you can understand and respect the effort that's going on here and the impact that it'll have and touch other lives. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's our charge, isn't it? To make this world a better place and doing good things for great causes. And this will certainly have an invaluable impact for the children that are recipients of these scholarship dollars moving forward. Life-changing scholarships for some, I'm assuming?
Yes, absolutely. That's our intent, is to ensure that it has that positive life-changing impact on our community and on our youth.
Again, Chief, thank you very much. I do appreciate your time and this effort, and thank you for letting us be a part of it. We're very humbled.
Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for what you've done for us, and we appreciate this support and this partnership as well. And all of your listeners out there, thank you.
Our thoughts and continued prayers for not only Sergeant Nevada Krinkee's family, his wife, and their infant daughter, but again, the Sheridan Police Department, his brother and sisters in arms, Sheridan community, Wyoming, and just our nation. Chief, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Josh.
And that wraps up another episode of Wild Things and Wild Places. But remember, the journey doesn't end here. Make sure you never miss out by subscribing. Whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, streaming us on our website, or following us on social media, subscribing is the best way to stay connected. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more wild episodes.
Everybody knows I'm a muley fanatic.